What's the best class for new players if you're coming into Star Wars: The Old Republic for the first time in 2025? That's a great question, but one that also leads to a little bit of confusion because Star Wars: The Old Republic doesn't actually use classes. Well, at least not these days. They started off with classes back in 2011 when the game first launched, but they have since moved away from the class structure to a playstyle structure. What do I mean by that? That's what this guide is for. So let's dive in. We're going to create a brand new character here. We're going to go with an origin character. The first thing you're asked to choose from is an allegiance between the Galactic Republic or the Sith Empire. This only really impacts the roleplay allegiance of your character because both sides have access to the exact same playstyles, aka classes. The only thing that's different is who your allegiance is with. So the Galactic Republic, you've got storylines related to Coruscant and the Republic side of things. And on the Sith Empire, it's all about Korriban and the Sith and what's going on that side of the fight. So for the sake of argument, let's start off with the Galactic Republic. We will show you both sides so that you can understand exactly what you're getting into. And for the start of this, we'll go ahead and choose the Jedi Knight, which is an origin story. What that means is that each one of these, Jedi Knight, Jedi Consular, Smuggler, Trooper, each one of these offers a roughly 25-hour original storyline that you can play through. Similarly, on the Sith side, there are 4 different origin stories. We'll take a look at those here in a minute as well. If I click on the Jedi Knight, you're going to notice that down below, there are 4 different play styles that I can choose from. The Guardian, which is a tank build. The Sentinel, which is a dual-wielding build. The Sage, which is a Force wielder build. All of these characters can obviously use the Force, but how much they use the Force depends on what they are. The Sage is either the healer or the pure caster. Think of this as like the mage class of Star Wars: The Old Republic. And then Shadow is like a rogue type build, which also can do some force stuff as well. They can do invisibility and sneak around the battlefield and stuff. If I go over to the Sith Empire side and I choose the Sith Warrior as an example, you're going to notice that there are a variety of additional that I can choose from because we have more selections of things we can do. The Sith Inquisitor, similarly, and the reason for this is because I have on my character, because of the way I've played, I have on the light side, on the Republic side, I have leveled the character to max with the light side of the Force, making light side choices. As a result, if I create a Sith character, I also have access to the light side or the Republic side choices for playstyles, mainly the Sentinel, the Guardian, the Shadow, and the Sage. If I did not have that perk already unlocked, we would only see Marauder, Juggernaut, Assassin, and Sorcerer, which are the exact same. They're the counterparts of the down below. So for example, the Marauder is the exact same as the Sentinel. The difference is that the Sentinel has light side force powers and the Marauder has dark side force powers. The Juggernaut is the exact same as the Guardian, just having light side versus dark side powers. The Assassin is the exact same as the Shadow. The Sorcerer is the exact same as the Sage. Again, the difference here being light side powers and dark side powers. But because I have characters on the light side who have already maxed out the light side faction, the light side reputation, I can choose those here. Now, I haven't ever actually maxed out a dark side character. If I had, I would be able to also have on my Jedi characters the ability to choose from the dark side options as well. I do not here, so I only have the light side options available. So hopefully that fixes that confusion for you. So the Jedi Knight is allowed to choose between these 4 playstyles. Similarly, the Jedi Consul can choose from these 4 playstyles as well. These are all the Jedi storylines. Then you get into the Smuggler. The Smuggler and the Trooper share 8 different playstyles between them. So you have the Gunslinger, which is a dual-wielding pistol build. You have the Scoundrel, which is a healer slash DPS character who uses a shotgun and a blaster pistol. You have the Mercenary, who is also dual-wielding, but is more of a... they dual-wield their blasters, but they also rely heavily upon missiles. And they can do like this hover ability where they fire down on the battlefield as well. Then there's the Power Tech, which is a defensive melee build primarily. Then you have the Sniper, who is a long-range DPS character. You have the Operative, who deals with a little bit of melee and some ranged as well. You have the Commando, who is all about heavy weapons and can do some healing. And you have the Vanguard, who is another tank-type style, who relies on a heavy blaster. Now, if we go back over to the Sith Empire side, you're going to notice the exact same thing when we go over to the Bounty Hunter or the Imperial Agent. They also have access to Sniper, Operative, Mercenary, Power Tech, Gunslinger, Scoundrel, Commando, Vanguard. These are non-force related playstyles, aka class builds, if you want to think of it that way. The only ones that are tied to the Force are these 8 right here. The other 8 are available to all of the regular melee characters, but these are the Force side. Again, looking at the difference between light side and dark side. So going back to the original question posed and requested for the title of this video, what's the best class for new players if you're coming into this game for the first time in 2025? Well, to be honest with you, everybody in this game can solo, especially given the fact that you're going to be given companions as you level your way through the game. So not only will you have whatever you can do, and if you look here, underneath where it says Jedi Knight as an example, it says I can go defense, vigilance, or focus. Each one of these play styles, let's go Sentinel for example. Watchman, combat, concentration. Sage offers seer, telekinetics, balance. Each playstyle in the game, or class build, if it helps you to think about it that way, comes with 3 different additional options that you can choose from. At the beginning of the game, you'll choose one, and then later on, if you're a subscriber, you can choose a secondary as well. This allows you to change up on the fly based on whether or not you're doing solo content or group content. Do you need to be going as a tank right now, or do you want to be doing a slightly more DPS style of a tank? Because at the end of the day, a Jedi Knight, as an example, is a tank. The Jedi Guardian, I should say, is a tank build, but you have 3 different versions of it. You have the defense, which is purely defense. You have the vigilance, which is damage over time in melee, and then you have focus, which is direct damage in melee. But at the end of the day, a Jedi Guardian is always about being a heavy armor wielding force user who's primarily focused on combat, as opposed to the Sentinel, who is primarily focused on dual wielding. So this is not a tank class, this is a DPS class. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload, or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. The Shadow is interesting because the kinetic combat is a tank type build, but it's also a stealth build. It's very intriguing to play. I have leveled up a Shadow, and it's quite a lot of fun. But for the sake of argument, I always tell people that there's 2 choices here for the easiest class or the best class for new players, because everybody does get a companion. You get a variety of companions to choose from, and the companions can be changed at any point in time to either be a tank, a DPS, or a healer to back you up depending on what you want to play as your preferred playstyle. However, there are two builds that stand out to me as the easiest and the best to play for new players, and that is the Jedi Guardian, because it is a very tanky build. It's a very tanky playstyle. Very, this was in the base game. This was the default tank class if you were on the Republic side. And their storyline, the Jedi Knight storyline, is very much focused on the classic Jedi experience that we'd expect from the films. The Jedi Knight storyline is a lot of fun. You're definitely kind of a lawful good paladin type. But the Jedi Guardian relies on heavy armor. You get a lot of force abilities. You are jumping around the battlefield, focused on melee combat, and it's extremely survivable. You have a ton of defensive abilities, and it's really hard to kill a Jedi Guardian. Whereas a Jedi Sage, on the other hand, is extremely squishy because this is the sorcerer build or the healer build. So you need someone who is tanky to be taking that damage for you. So if you are running in a group, you'll be in the background. If you're running with a companion, your companion will be the tank for you. But I always tell new players the Jedi Guardian, if you're going to be playing on the Republic side, the Jedi Guardian is the best option for new players. And on the Sith Empire side, you're looking for the Sith Warrior, which is the counterpart to that. And particularly, you're looking for the Juggernaut, who is the counterpart to the Jedi Guardian, offering a tanky, immortal build, as they call it. Eventually, Juggernaut, I believe, is looking at the terminology here, but it's just the opposite side of the Guardian. The Immortal build is the best for this. You've got Vengeance as well as Rage. Having played through both of the storylines, I could say that while the Jedi Guardian offers a more classic, like defensive style of tanking, the Sith Warrior is more of the offensive style of tanking. And if you've played fantasy games, it's kind of like the Paladin is the Jedi Guardian, and the Juggernaut is like the Shadow Knight, if that makes sense. So these are the two. I mean, essentially at the end of the day, they're both the same. These are like the tank builds of Star Wars: The Old Republic with lightsabers. They're a lot of fun to play. The counterpart to these would be if you were going to go with like the Bounty Hunter. You might choose something like the Power Tech or the Vanguard. These guys are also a little tanky. You can see defense and melee is the specialty here on each of these. So whether or not you choose to do this on the good side or the bad side, sorry, I'm not supposed to say that these days. It's light side, dark side. Wait, we can't say that either. The Galactic Republic or the Sith Empire, either way you go, you'll have lots of options to choose from. My main character is a Jedi Guardian. This is what I've quite enjoyed over the years. It's a lot of fun to play. You get some really cool armor, and of course, lots of awesome force abilities, and he is indestructible in combat scenarios. So hopefully you found that useful. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams happen at around 6 or 7 a.m. Central Time on YouTube and Twitch. And there's a lot of guides over the years in my Star Wars: The Old Republic playlist, so don't forget to check that link down below. I've been playing this game since launch. It's not my main game, but I do dabble over the years. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll see you in the next stream or video. Until then, stay safe, and may the Force be with you.